Hello, all you wonderful people. So glad that you would come out today and support me again. Thank you for popping in. If you're new here, welcome to our channel. We're glad to have you. Today we are going to be making these stacked topsy-turvy little jack-o'-lanterns. They are cheap, inexpensive, and easy to make. We will be starting with 4 foam blocks from Dollar Tree, and I am using some orange 12-inch balloons, and I'm going to cut the part that you blow up, just cutting it just barely above the round part, and then I am going to be putting them over the top of those um, blocks, those foam blocks. Right here I'm just cutting the top off, and then I put them over the top and take them all the way around. And I really like the way these looks. A lady at the Dollar Tree where I go told me, oh, I use balloons when I do things with these foam. And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. And I loved how it turned out. So I was really grateful for that little advice. Okay, so here I'm just kind of cutting slits on both sides of where the balloon comes to the top, and the reason why I'm doing that is so that I can glue it down and kind of have it fairly even so you don't notice it nearly as much. I'm just kind of cutting, so I can kind of fold one side down, glue it, and then fold the other on top of it and glue it, or put the other on top of it and glue it. The other side. And I'm just gluing it. I'm using E6000 to glue it with. Oh, it looks like Sassy came to join the party. I swear she wants to be a movie star when she grows up. Okay, I'm just taking a little bit of that E6000 glue and I am gluing, doing the same with all 4. Gluing one side down and then folding the other side over and gluing it down after I've kind of cut a little split in on both sides of that excess balloon. I hope you guys all had a wonderful 4th of July. I was lucky enough to have a friend drop by that I haven't seen for a while. My best friend from the time I was a child. It was pretty nice to see her and her cute little grandkids. Okay, now after I got them done, I am just taking some paint. Actually, I think I might have drew them on first, but I'm just taking some paint and I am black paint. It's black acrylic paint, and I'm just gonna do the basic triangle nose and eyes. And I'm just doing a smiley on him on this one. I didn't know how the paint would work on this, but it worked really well. And as I'm going to be stacking them on top of each other, I'm just kind of looking to see which side where to put the face. I'm just kind of going with the basic triangles for most of these. at least for their eyes. Some of their noses will be different in their mouths, but and you can make your little faces any way you want them to be. You get to have a creative license when you do things like this. Just trying to figure which side is the best one to put the face on. Putting some eyebrows on a couple of them. This one, he's looking kind of mad. He's a little bit angry today. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I just paint these however feels good. And then I will add some highlights. Okay, now I'm going to take some white and I'm going to make some whites for the eyes. Add some little highlights. I'm just adding a little highlight on the nose and the mouth as well. And I'm taking my skewer to put the little polka dots on the eyes, the little eyes, and as well as doing the little marks for the highlights, just to make them look a little bit more alive. You know, like they're actually alive. I'm just gonna highlight a little bit with that stick. I use the pointed end and just kind of use it like a pencil. Works pretty good for those little teeny things. This one I'm just adding a couple dots on the eyes, a highlight on the nose and on the mouth. And I'm doing the same with these ones. Actually, I think on that one I'm putting a little bit more white on the eyes. They each have their own little personalities. Okay, now as what I did, my original plan was to use a skewer. However, that did not work because I needed to push it through and it needed a hammer or something to go through. So if you want to use a skewer, I would use a small dowel rod, and I would sharpen the end of it with a pencil sharpener to make a point, and then I would stick it up through. But don't do the skewers, they won't work. But anyway, so I just used D6000 to glue them, and while While the glue, or while the E6000 worked very, very good, but they were still wobbly, and so I took some of these wooden beads, and I just kind of pried them in to between the ones that are sitting all kind of squampus, and I glued them on. Now I'm just kind of um, painting them with nutmeg. It's very watered down and it's more like a stain, just in case you can see them. I'm going to be decorating them as you've seen at the first, so um, they don't really need to be, you know, just in case you see them. But anyway, so I put them in to kind of give it more stability since my original plan didn't work. But that's what you do when it doesn't work. You figure something else out. But this actually did work pretty good. It's kind of bobbles a little bit, but I mean, it's not going to fall off. It's pretty secure, but it just, once in a while, it'll just bobble a little bit. It, okay, now I'm going to take some red paint, some crimson red, and I am just going to put a little bit on for the cheeks, on each side of the mouth and nose for the cheeks. I'm doing this while the hot glue gun is heating up. The only thing is with painting on these balloons, the paint does take a little bit longer to dry. Not a lot longer, but a little bit longer. But I truly love how they turned out rather than painting because it has such a smooth surface. And if I make other things with these blocks, I probably will do the same thing because it's kind of nice. However, if you don't want that little bottom part to show, which I don't, so I'm going to be decorating them. But if they're not going to go, down where you can glue them down to something or whatever, you might want to put a little piece of cardboard over and paint it, or even put it inside the balloon, wrap it in the balloon and kind of cover that up if you want. Now I'm just kind of doing a second coat because this crimson was a little bit kind of translucent, and so it went on, but it just kind of needed a little oomph. And even looking at them, you can still tell it's a little translucent, but it does go on pretty good, and it kind of blends in so it doesn't pop out too much. But if you don't want to use red, you could use a pink. You could even use the nutmeg color would work good for little cheeks. I did not put little highlights on the cheeks. I was just realizing that. But I also have so many highlights on the eyes and nose, I don't know if it would be a good idea to put that much on. But you can if you want. I think it'd look pretty darn cute. And I may just have to do that when we get done here. Okay, now I am going to start decorating. I'm going to take some of them fall leaves, kind of glue on the side of the little guy's head. I'm going to use some raffia for just hair and decoration, and And I have some old picks with like wheat or barley heads, and I'll be using them and a few little bit foam berries. Right here I'm just kind of folding up the raffia, just kind of trying to stack it up a little bit. And then I'm taking that little skewer in there to kind of push it down in between where it's kind of scawampus, just so that it kind of fits down in there and kind of helps hold it together as well. And then here I am going to be using some raffia and some berries. And I'm just trying to get them down in to that little crack or whatever, just to kind of help hold it. Okay, now I'm putting the berries and stuff in. And raffia, just whatever feels good. I'm okay, that's got a little, I think a little bit of wheat. I think it's one of the little wheat heads or barley heads. And I'm taking some foliage from that fall pick, and I'm just putting some glue on it and gluing it down. You can decorate this however you want. As I was putting this on, I thought, oh, this would look cute if these barley or these wheat heads were his hair. And that's kind of what I was going for, but it didn't. I ended up doing other things with it too, but I'm putting some raffia on there, giving him a little haircut. And then I think I am putting a leaf on top there. Hope I'm still doing the raffia. Okay, I'm going to take some some little foliage, fall foliage, and putting it in. Got some little hay. It's hay hauling season. I guess that's where I got the idea of hay. You got the little wheat in there. Get just sticking some more raffia in there. I put a little hat on the top of this guy, and I don't know what happened to the footage of it, but what I did is I took a piece of very thin cardboard, kind of a little bit sturdier than cardstock paper, kind of cut out a triangle and just rolled it up to to look like a pointy part of the witch's hat. And then I cut the excess off, glued it, and then I just took some felt and glued it over the top of it. I also took a little piece of cardboard for the brim of the hat, and I put felt over the top of that, and then I just glued it on top, and you can see that It wasn't difficult at all to make. There's the hat right there. Okay, now I have this piece of wood. It's just a scrap wood that was laying around. Fortunately for me, I had sanded it and got it ready prior, so I don't know what I was using it for, but so now I'm just going to paint it with that nutmeg that is very watered down, and it just is more like a little stain. And I thought I would go like with that, just in case you've seen those beads, those wooden stained beads, then you'd be able to do that, or it'd match. I'm taking some beaded jute, or braided jute, and I'm going to just glue it around the top of the witch's hat for a witch band, a hat band. Then I'm going to use some E6000 and a little hot glue to hold it in place, and there it's sitting. It's pretty secure. I'm just taking some fall foliage, some raffia, whatever I can find actually, and just kind of gluing it down there. Now you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but you know, for some reason I just go insane when it comes time to decorating. I need to tell myself less is more. Adding just some little foam berries. And then I'm going to just add some, I think I had a piece of wheat, a head of wheat. Put a little paper sunflower on there that came from Dollar Tree. Came from Dollar Tree. And then at the Dollar Tree they had these little pumpkins the last time I went. They had little picks with these pumpkins on, so I grabbed a few. That little white pumpkin. And I'm just sticking in a piece of wheat to make it look like cohesive. And there we have our project. Thank you so much for popping in and watching us today make these little things. They're extremely inexpensive. They're just pennies on the dollar, and I'm really glad that you popped in, and thank you for popping in. If you like what you've seen, hit the like button. If you want to see more context, please hit the subscribe button, and enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a very nice day. Thank you so much for joining us. I really like having you here. So I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.